excited to introduce you to Jackie White. She's been in the collective for close to a year. We're coming up on your 1-year anniversary. And before joining, you were a physical trainer, like a personal trainer. And really, I think what makes Jackie the most humble badass, for lack of a better word, is that you were a Olympic alternative for the US team for Judo. Did I get it correct?
Yes.
Even repping your Team USA sweatshirt. So good. Okay. All right. So let's like jump into this right off the bat. Like, what was happening in your life that made you want to have a complete career change?
Okay. So essentially I was working at that point, I had worked at a really fun gym for a while, and then they had new ownership. And so I left them, went to another place, and then that ownership didn't really know what they were doing, and they were going through all kinds of things. And so I had left with them, and I was at like this big box gym, which was really never the kind of place that I wanted to be training at, but it was available and I took it, and it was just supposed to be like a side, just a little thing, but it started to be very much a headache. I didn't enjoy going there. I wasn't really training anybody. It wasn't enjoyable. I didn't feel like I was as valued as I should have been, and it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I still wanted to make some money, but I didn't want to do it with them. And I was really ready to kind of change what I was doing. Part of it was because I wanted to be able to go to the gym and work out and do my own workouts for me and not have to train somebody or have to show up. I wanted my own kind of schedule with that. So I didn't want to be at that place anymore, and I was looking for something different. And I knew I had all these skills that I could use to transfer into something else. I'd been doing all kinds of stuff with nonprofits before, and somebody had mentioned grant writing to me, and I thought, I can do that. Sure, I can do that. And so the more I looked into it, the more I thought, that's the direction that I'm going to go.
I love it, because this isn't like a lateral move. Like, yes, you are working in nonprofits. This just feels like a full on like 360 reinvention. So what's been like one or two things you've been specifically proud of from this journey?
I think the biggest thing that I'm proud of is the fact that I'm kind of where I saw myself being. So I wanted to be able to work from home. I wanted to have a flexible schedule. I wanted to make a lot more money than what I was making as a personal trainer and working in the box gym. And I've done all of those.
Sweet. So, in 1 year. Nice.
So that's kind of, yeah.
Did you do the vision board activity that Alex has? Did you do that?
Say that again?
Did you do that vision board activity that Alex has in the course?
I did. When you go through the course, and she's talking about Asana, and that's one of the first boards is the vision and goals, and I did it in there. So I put it in there, and I kind of have this thing of putting out there what it is that I want to do, what I want to accomplish, and then trying to stay focused on that. Mm-hmm. So and there were times when I thought, because before I actually joined the program, I was just looking around, doing some other stuff, trying to figure out how I was going to jump into it and how I was going to make this work. Right. And so eventually I found y'all, and I made it work.
Nice.
So yeah, and it was, some of the stuff I just was trying to, I think the biggest hurdle was convincing organizations that I could do the job for them. So, they're always asking those questions about, well, how much experience do you have, or how much have you written, and how much have you done this? And so trying to explain to them how all of your skills are transferable to do this, and writing that is actually the easy part. And I've done all the hard part already. That was sort of the lesson to learn as you went forward to try and convince these people that you can do the job.
Absolutely. So how did you find that you were able to overcome that?
So when I first started talking to people, doing informational interviews or talking to organizations that may have job openings and that sort of thing, they tended to ask the same sorts of questions.
Right.
So I came up with a positive way. I felt very much like a politician answering these questions, where I'm like, I'm going to switch this to the way I want it. I'm going to give you the information that I want you to have rather than answering the question that you asked me. So I kind of developed a system of doing that, where they ask me questions. I would switch it to what I want to tell you about me and my experience rather than what you're asking me.
Right. And it's not that it's not truthful. It's all entirely true. But I think, yeah, you're right. Sometimes people, they ask, like the classic one is, what's your win rate? And you're like, I can answer that, but there's like for sure, but there are grants. Like I had my first grant application I ever did. Actually, I was told like, oh yeah, you have to submit 3 times and then you'll get funded. Like everyone just gets in line, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that you actually have a, 30% win rate. It's just that, well, that's the process with this funding cycle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm working with an organization right now that I'm trying to figure out the best ways to kind of explain that to them because they've never had a grant writer before. And I came on board and I said, this is what I can do for you. And I've been working with them since May, and they're kind of on the edge of the seat. Well, where's the money? Well, where's the money? I'm like, these are the things that we have done to get you ready to get some money.
Yeah, so, right. Grant readiness is a big thing. A lot of organizations want to just jump right into that, especially if they're startups and you're like, whoa, pump the brakes, get ready.
Yeah.
So have you completed some funding strategies?
Yes, a couple. And the funny thing about the funding strategies is that I know I started to charge too little, but I wanted to have something that was paid, and I wanted to do it so that they would think, okay, this is affordable and do it. So I've had several, and I have one that's pending now, like a contract for one now, but that's like she's just starting out and she kind of wants to know where we're going. So I have something pending as well. So yeah, I've done several.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. And then have some of those funding strategies turned into helping them pursue grant applications that you recommended?
Yes. The very first one I wrote, he didn't have a lot of money, so he ended up paying for the funding strategy, but then he was trying to struggle and do some things on his own to try and figure out how he was going to go for them. So I didn't really write any of the grants after that for him. And then another organization, because what I found out was that when I'm sending these funding strategies and saying, this is what we can do, and this is the funding strategy, and then at the end saying, after we look at this, we can decide how we're going to pay project by project. And I was thinking, well, if I could just get somebody to put me on retainer, then I don't have to think about that for a while. And that's the role that I can get that retainer, and then I can leave this box gym and move on. Right. So that one of the organizations I just said, X amount of money, this is what I can do. Here's what the funding strategy costs. Then you can put me on retainer. And I just phrased it so it was based on our conversation. I think that the best thing that might be for you is to put me on retainer. And this is what it would cost for this many months. And I gave them choices and options. And I did that so because a lot of times people are like, well, so then what am I going to pay you to actually write? So I wanted to kind of give them a framework to jump in and say, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, so completely.
They were comfortable with that and came back with an offer. So.
Yeah, I just saw a post recently from Jess. Actually, it might have been old. I just hadn't seen it, but she made the point that she asked, like, what were you, what is your budget monthly? And she was preparing to make prepare for $3,000 a month. And they said, well, it's typically about, and she calculated it was $6,000 a month is what they were budgeting for. So it does go to sometimes those retainers, like while I kind of like value-based pricing, retainers can be sweet for giving you that stability, especially while you're making that transition of leaving.
Right. And that's all I really wanted from that was that stability so that I could comfortably leave this and then I could continue to pursue any of the grant stuff that I wanted to. So that was just, I knew it was under pricing, but it was the stability that I wanted to make everything else work. And since it's really the flexibility to kind of do it when I want, so I'm like, I don't have to clock in and clock out for them. So I just meet with them every couple of weeks. So that did what I wanted it to do.
Yep, completely. Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that's exciting, reminds me of Johanna did this. It's like you build up your client base. Now you actually can't take on more clients. So you have the decision to actually drop maybe some clients that weren't as awesome. So you can keep making room for increasingly better and better clients. And that's just a journey. We don't get all like unicorn clients right off the bat. Typically it takes a little process.
Yeah. And I had commented on that post that Jess had in the collective. I commented on that because one of the things that I found out with this group that I did a retainer for was they had budgeted so much more for a grant writer. And so that was one of the things that I had commented on. I mean, but it served its purpose and I learned the lesson and I got what I wanted out of it. But then I'm like, oh yeah, they budgeted so much more. Okay, so I should have room to ask for more when this contract is up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what I've been thinking a lot about. Just like we every year at least must increase our rates, if not even.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking about wanting to accomplish in the coming year?
Well, I really liked how much Faisal was getting paid with those federal grants. So I'm thinking I want to start building that up a little more. And I don't anticipate being where I want to be with that until maybe the Q3 of next year, maybe. Just because I want to have some other stuff under my belt, like some of the organizations that I have now, I can start kind of doing federal stuff for them and getting much more comfortable with it, and then kind of grow from there. And so that's kind of the route that I wanted to go with that. And right now I have I'm working essentially with 6 different nonprofits. So I'm thinking one of these might need to go by the end of the year. I might need to weed this out. So I'm kind of thinking through that as well.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. So you came to the first ever Grant Writing Unicorn Retreat.
That was so awesome.
Yeah, it was so great. So why did you decide to do that? Why did you decide to come?
Yeah. When it first came out, first of all, because you guys had mentioned a retreat before, I'm thinking, oh, that would be really cool. It'd be cool to go to Alaska. It'd be cool. And I thought, Alaska's really far away. I don't know if I'd really go in Alaska. And then it came out that you guys were doing this. It was going into Arizona. I was thinking, sometimes, as grant writers, you're just kind of in your own little world and you don't have that village and that connection. And I just thought, this would be fun. This will be something to get out, to go do something. And thinking back on it, I was like, I haven't done a girls trip. I've just like gone and done something. So why not? I was talking to my mom. She's like, just go. You should have fun. Just go. And my husband said, just go. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And I kept thinking, maybe I should have thought a little more about that. And
we didn't give you any time to think about it. It was like 90 days from like booking the venue to like it happening. Less than.
I jumped on it really quickly after you guys even posted. I'm like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you were the first person to sign up.
But I'm like, it should be fun. It was good. It was a good choice to do it. So I'm good with it. It was good. I bought my airline ticket a little too early, but still, this is good. This is good.
Oh yeah. No, tickets are a little brutal right now, but
yeah. But I felt like I jumped into it because I thought it would be good to kind of secure, just create that village, to get that familiarity. And seeing some of the people that you'd seen on the videos and talking to them was just really made a stronger connection. Like when I got to the airport, Faisal was the first person I recognized. I'm like, okay, this is my group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've been good about that. So you've organized meetups with other unicorns in Atlanta.
Yeah, I did. Well, I sent an email out recently and I haven't heard any back from either of them. I did meet with Warren last weekend. I had told him, I'm in Atlanta if you want to get together or whatever. So I met him for coffee. He's like new to the collective and just kind of dabbling in it and getting to know. So that was really kind of nice.
Cool. He seems awesome. Sweet.
He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Yeah.
Okay. And then you met up with Stacy,
Jackson, and Nicole Sannett.
And Nicole, yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, Stacy came the first time, and then her schedule was just kind of messed up the next couple of times. So Nicole and I have gotten together like 3 or 4 times.
Okay, cool.
Stacy was on,
Crystal's in Atlanta too.
Yes, we were on the same flight back.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Sweet. All right, so complete this sentence. The Global Grant Writers Collective has helped me fill in the blank.
Change the direction of my career.
Cool. Okay, rapid fire questions, like 1-word-ish answers. What's 1 word to describe your dream lifestyle?
Freedom.
Good. Next vacation spot?
The Caribbean.
Ooh. Okay, fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
What are you reading right now?
All the Light You Cannot See.
Ooh, that's a good one. Last TV show you binged?
House of Dragons.
I have like no point of reference. I don't watch any television. I have no.
It's the Game of Thrones thing.
Okay, sweet. Like, cool. Lost on me. I think that question's more useful for Alex because she actually doesn't watch television. I'm more like nerd out on the book front. What is your superpower?
Problem solving.
Nice. You want to know what the answer to I always thought was like my dorky superpower when I was asked this once? like the dorky version to the answer is I can eat a lot of food while exercising. And, and I feel like as an athlete, you can appreciate this because I was, mountain biking long distances, or you're skiing in your backcountry for like 6 hours. Like you have, and you also can get cold and you need to keep moving. So I'm like, I can eat with like a grilled cheese, like in my pocket while exercising. When you like can barely breathe, I can like still get the food in. So I feel like that's my superpower. Do you have another dorky superpower that comes to mind?
Me? A dorky one? Oh, no.
Okay, tell it to me when you think of it. It's one of those things that happens weird times.
Okay.
Okay, last question. So if there's someone out there, which there's people out there debating if they should go for their dream or learn a new skill, what would you tell them?
If they want an opportunity to change their current trajectory, then jump on board.
Cool. Wise words from Jackie. Okay, anything else that you want to share? Cool.
I've enjoyed this, so yeah.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm cheesing really hard, like my cheeks hurt. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jackie. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I was going to ask you how you like the Biltmore.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I was going to tell you. Okay. So for everyone else's context, after the unicorn retreat, I flew to Asheville, North Carolina. First time I'd ever been. Holy smokes, beautiful. And the water tastes amazing. We went to the Biltmore for this first ever kind of entrepreneur conference. And what I can say about it was hilarious. So we actually stayed down at that the little hotel kind of at the base of the hill. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the other hotel was the Biltmore because it's so amazing. Right. So
that's the one I said, go check out the gym.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought it was the gym in the actual Biltmore. Okay. Well, I missed it.
No.
Okay. Well, I have to go back. I had gone on a walk to just kind of like clear my head on these mountain bike trails that are behind that. And I didn't take my phone. So when you'd come to an intersection, I was like, okay, game time decision, right or left. And I seem to always choose like the longer version. But anyway, so we then, that last day, Shay has never ridden a bike since she was 10. And she rides this bike and it's up a steep hill to get up to the property. It's a decent ride. Dirt road, everything. And we're like half mile in and she's like, my legs are really tired. Are yours? I'm like, oh, this is not good. Like you have a hill to climb still. And that's an electric bike. And it turns out she had it on like the hardest gear. So I got her all fixed up before we climbed the hill. But the tour itself was cool. We actually did the behind, like the servant quarters.
Cool.
And the plus side of that was that it was very cool. The downside was because I hadn't really seen the inside, I was missing some context. So what I really like to do is like surprise my mom at some point and take her out there because she loved Downtown Abbey.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I mean, I would love to go back there. A very special place.
When I think it was one of the first coaching calls I was on, and there was a question about something. What did you do over the weekend? Or what did you do over this? And that's when I had said, I went to the Biltmore, and you're like, what is that? What's the Biltmore?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. It's what a trip. I mean, it's such a cool way to celebrate. It makes sense. It's sort of like Disneyland for adults.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like was like, it was kind of too quiet at the end of the day. There's like things that shut down. I'm like, they needed like a jazz musicians or something that kind of stayed open where people could huddle around a fire and enjoy a glass of wine and just listen to jazz. And I thought that was kind of missing from that.
Yeah, I completely agree. They had they had enough fake music playing. I actually thought there actually was a live musician one of the days, kind of in the evening, which was lovely. But I agree. It kind of shut down quickly.
Yeah, it just needed a little something because people were staying on complex and you just kind of needed something.
Right. Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Did you do the wine tour?
Actually, I didn't. I did not drink the whole time for whatever reason. I think it's because I was just using I just wanted to make sure I had a clear head. And so Shay did. She said it was awesome. Yeah, so that would I would like I said, there's just one of you got to go back. Like I don't think I got to taste it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and then the next day I met up with Zach and Joanna. So they came over from Charlotte.
Nice. That was nice.
Away. Yeah, it was so fun. We went on a hike and had food, and I went shopping with them. Which was
I
funny.
kept trying to remember that name of that bakery and I couldn't remember it. So
oh, man. Yeah, well, it's on my list. I'm gonna make it back there at some point. That's for sure. Who knows? Maybe a future getting the team there or something. I felt like I barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, it's a nice little town.
Yeah. I think people like me that live in mountain places forget that there's other cool places because we think we have the coolest mountains, you know. Yeah, it was spectacular.
It was just like sitting at the upper hotel has that big balcony where you can kind of sit out there and look at the mountains and stuff. And it was just a really pretty cool, calming place to be.
And swinging in that chair on the tree. Yeah, that was great. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I think this has been awesome. You've definitely helped people probably think through like what a journey can look like. It's nice to see it. It's one thing for me to tell it. It's another to actually have someone else share their story.
Yes, it's been a good ride. It's been a good ride. I'm enjoying it and still have lots to learn, lots to do. But I'm in a much better position. I'm in a position where I expected myself to be, where I could see myself being, and I know I can be here and I can continue to grow from here. So
nice. And then next year, unlock phase 6.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, I'll see you in the community group then.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.